As the population of the Treasure Valley in Idaho continues to grow, the demand for more advanced healthcare capabilities also grows. Saint Alphonsus Regional Medical Center in Boise is responding to that need with the first ever neurosurgical trauma at ICU in the state. I met up with Dr. Andre Chutka. He's a neurosurgeon at Saint Alphonsus to learn more. Andre, it is so good to see you. Thank you for joining us. I want to talk to you about the new ICU at St. Alphonsus. Help us understand what type of patients will be cared for there.
Well, the new neuro ICU is branded as Neuro and Surgical Trauma ICU. We casually refer to it as NEST, but it is really going to be subspecialized for patients with neurological problems. So the sickest of the sick in neurological problems, or trauma patients, or surgical patients. So those are patients, if you think of bad car accidents and patients with severe head injuries, they'll be coming to us. Any patients with strokes or any neurological injury. When I say injury, I don't necessarily mean a bat or baseball bat to the head or a car accident. We mean any damage to the brain, and that can come from medical diseases, from surgical diseases, and from trauma as well.
Okay, and then so this NEST, I love the term, by the way. Is this unique then? Is this the only, ICU of its kind in the state?
It is, yes. There is no other neuro ICU in the state. There's actually no other trauma ICU in the state. So we are creating something that's going to be highly subspecialized. It is more common in academic centers. And as you know, there are no really academic medical centers in the state of Idaho. So that's why we felt the need, with the patient population increasing in the valley, and we're seeing increasing number of patients with those problems. We really felt like we should step up the game and really provide the best care possible.
Oh, that's fantastic. And tell us, who's going to be working in these new ICUs? You'd already mentioned some specialization, so I imagine that there's going to be physicians and care providers with a lot of specialization.
Correct. There are really two aspects to it. The neurological aspect, so neurocritical care is actually a specialty. So we are bringing neurointensivists, who are physicians who specialized. They can come from neurology or anesthesia, but they spend fellowship time training in neurocritical care, and they end up treating patients with neurological injuries. And so this will be fully staffed by fellowship trained neurointensivists. And then on the surgical and trauma side of things, we actually have a full spectrum of trauma surgeons who also have critical care boards and will be actually taking care of those patients in collaboration with the neurointensivists.
Help the viewer understand what's the benefit to patients and to the community as a whole when it comes to being able to provide care like this here in Idaho.
So that's even goes back to medical studies. We've shown that actually having a neurocritical care specialist improves outcomes. Just in general, patients with strokes, patients with head injuries just do better if they're taken care of by people who specialize in that aspect. And that is the key benefit. The patients formerly might have been flown to academic centers outside of our state, but they didn't have to. They can stay here and really rest assured that they're getting the best possible care.
I can imagine too, being able to have that care in state opposed to having to go out of state provides a lot of benefits to patients, and the fact that they don't have to worry about out of state housing. They get to be in a community that they're familiar with. They get to be near those that they love and that they need to be around. We've all heard, there's power and healing in medicine, but there's also power and healing in relationships, and being able to be around that positive energy of your family, I can just imagine helps with a positive outcome, or more of a positive outcome for those patients when they're able to stay home.
Beautifully said. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. To me, family at bedside with their loved one makes a huge difference.
Yes. Well, Andre, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate your time. We are so excited and so thankful and grateful to have an ICU like this available in Idaho to continue to improve the outcomes for so many of our people.